Greetings, I'm Jonathan Spear, I play in Peaceful Mode, and welcome to Age of Engineering Supershorts. Because I play in Peaceful Mode, I developed a lot of recipes for mob drops. Many of these, like the gas tier, are gated behind Ender IO, but I'm about to change that. First off, for seed oil, I move my chestnut drawer over here. For the basic capacitor, I'm going to need a thermionic fabricator and an algorithm separator. I'll place my carpenter and thermionic fabricator here with import buses under them and an export bus right here. Meanwhile, I'll put my interface here with the chest on top. Here's another export bus also to chestnut with a squeezer on top. Since this machine produces mulch, I'll add an ME import bus so it doesn't get clogged up. Fluid conduits will deliver seed oil from the squeezer to the carpenter. And each of these item conduits has a counting item filter. Environmental Tech clear glass will get inserted into the thermionic fabricator, and I'll program it for copper electron tubes. The carpenter is programmed for machine chassis. The algorithm assimilator gets its interface and import bus here. I'll program the copper electron tube recipe into this counting item filter. And finally program the capacitor recipe. I'll set up this counting item filter for machine chassis, and program that recipe too. Now I'll place down an interface and alloy smelter. Just like the other one, it's set to push and pull at the bottom. Before I use it, however, I'm going to set up a resonator. The most important recipe for me right now is the lunar reactive dust, which produces moonstones, which produce ender pearls, among other things. Next up, the demon metal ritual. I have an automatic precision dropper here with an interface, and demon metal is now programmed. I've run out of space in my interface for the sag mill, so I'll place down a phantom face here, connected to the sag mill, with an interface here. Demon ingot sag mill into 2 or more blaze powder. Turns out the automatic precision dropper won't make demon metal, but the normal dropper will. 5 blaze powder makes blaze rods in an alloy smelter. A moonstone and 4 demon ingots makes 4 gas tiers. Sand makes soul sand in an atomic reconstructor. Soul sand makes solarium, and with a slice and splice interface and export bus on shears, with an unbreakable N-forge axe inside of the slice and splice, and a smelting coal powder to gunpowder recipe, I can make the drop of evil. Spider eye, zombie head, energetic alloy, Vibran alloy, double air capacitor, octadic capacitor. Now for the automation age. Electrical steel needs silicon, and silicon dioxide is already craftable. I just automated basic item filters by allowing sugar canes into my drawer system with the void upgrade. For dioxide, I need clay, so I'm grabbing my molecular transformer and solar panels. I'm moving my solar panels here, and placing my molecular transformer here. Dirt to clay, clay to silicon dioxide, and silicon dioxide to 4 silicon. The pattern is on this chest, feeding into the centrifuge. Electrical steel. The hardest part of conduit binder is wood pulp. I've crafted a new carpenter, but to fill it with water I'm going to use an ender tank, cauldron, glass bottles, enderman heads, ender resonator, Klein flask, wool, and an ender tank. I'll place down my carpenter and ender tank here, give it a recipe of wood pulp, and set the item conduit to insert spruce wood. I forgot that I didn't have an easily accessible import bus area, so I'm moving it here. I'm making clay balls in the extractor from clay. CF powder using calculator small stones, binder composite, and conduit binder. And with that, I filled up my molecular assemblers yet again. Good thing I'm prepared. The extra assemblers got placed a bit randomly. Currently crafting an ender tank and a carpenter. For the end rod, I'll farm chorus plants in the cloche. A chorus flower replacing this cactus should grow just fine. It grows into chorus fruit, which melts into pop chorus fruit, which makes the end rod. For nutrient distillation, I'm going to use the vat and the carpenter. I'll place a chest here with an interface and an import bus, automate the Z-Logic controller, the advanced item filter, the redstone torch, a comparator, and a counting item filter, and I'll place my ender tank right here, filter the vat on rotten flesh and sugar, set the vat to push into the carpenter, filter the carpenter, add the recipe, set the chest extract to always active, and watch it go. As I've just now discovered, the nutrient distillation produced by that recipe is only 375 millibuckets, so I'm changing the filter to 2 zombie heads and 2 sugar. And the machine frame is now automated. Empowered void crystal needs necrotic bones, so it's a good thing I have the drop of evil craftable, but ink sacks will be a bit more complicated. So let's get ourselves a soul vial, a powered spawner, a broken spawner, and a squid. I'll also need a soul binder, which I'll temporarily place right here. And with 8 levels, start the slow process. Now we have a squid spawner, so we just need to place it into an anvil with a powered spawner to get a squid powered spawner. I'll place an ME level emitter here, set to emit when there are fewer than 32 ink sacs, with the powered spawner on top. Because squids die in plain air, and the powered spawner is above the water so the squids won't spawn and drop into the water, the squids will automatically die. The range of spawning is just within the range of this range collector, so all the ink sacs the squids drop should be picked up. It's horribly inhumane, but it works. Now that the first few squids are dead, I can filter the range collector. Now that the gate to the automation age is automated, I can do the atomic age, which is why I need these 2 docking stations, this program card, and these crafting cards. I'll place down 2 more nodes, with 2 docking stations, 1 for atomic. I'm placing down another node eventually for the conductor mast. I've modified my program for the atomic calculator with an atomic node. I've increased the slot range and accordingly added an extra push item. The sides are different too because the orientation of the docking station is different. I'll save it as atomic. I've given the program 3 slots. Fire diamond is now craftable. I've set up a simple program for the conductor mast. Every 20 ticks, it fetches fire diamonds from the west inventory and puts them into the conductor mast, and then takes electric diamonds out of the mast and puts them into the east inventory. I'm just filling up the conductor mast real quick. It'll fill up on its own later. I've automated electric diamonds, but I had hit a snag. You have to pull directly from the bottom and from no other side in order to get the electric diamond. In order to get an end diamond, I need endstone and obsidian. An endstone has no recipe, but from the void resource miner. I've already made all the materials and picked out which blocks I want. Here's the void miner, with drawers and a trash can, and the conduit set to priority 1 on the drawer controller and 0 on the trash can. And of course an external storage with priority 10 just in case. Can't forget to power it with some lovely dire wire. And now that it's running, I can make the end diamond. With end diamonds you can make stabilized ender pearls, which are really only useful for ender star and tier 3 environmental tech stuff. I've modified my program for the flawless calculator with an extra check, 2 different recipes, and an extra push items. I'll save it as flawless. With the 2 recipes program, I can insert the program card with little difficulty. Note that I have 4 slots allocated to this. Next up, I want to make an electric crucible and electric solidifier. I'll place out an interface and a chest, and a crucible and solidifier, both with an octa-core processor and a network card. The electric crucible will pull from the left and push to the right. The electric solidifier is set to ingot mode, pulling from the left. And last but not least, an import bus. Steel melts down into molten steel, which solidifies into refined iron. To automate the singularity, I'm going to need to make the matter condenser. I've just been sick as I record this, so apologies for the hoarseness of my voice. To create a singularity, you fill up a 64K ME storage component with any type of block in a matter condenser. The storage component isn't destroyed, so I only need to make 1. I'm also making a Cobblestone Generator tier 5. The matter condenser requires no energy, so I'll put it and the Cobblestone Generator right here. The condenser has 3 modes: destroy items, condense into matter balls, and condense into singularities. That's the one I want. Once I put in the 64K ME storage component, it'll load up. It's not that fast, but later I'll add more Cobblestone Generators, possibly with translocators. To automate reinforced stone, I'm doing something a little different. First, I'm going to automate iron fences, which are iron casings in a metal former on extruding mode, and then I'll craft a bunch of mechanical miners and mechanical users. I'll make 1 CF sprayer, 10 counting item filters, and the recipe for iron scaffold. Originally, I was recording the process by which I had automated reinforced stone, but it got so convoluted and I experienced so many complications that I decided to just scrap the whole thing, rebuild it from scratch, and explain it to you in its completion. It starts with 10 sand, CF powder, and 10 iron scaffold getting sent in that order. They get pulled out by an item conduit with a speed downgrade. If the mechanical users place their scaffolding too fast, then the scaffolding drops, which is why there's a downgrade. So this wall of 10 mechanical users places down the scaffolding. Each of the mechanical users in that wall has a counting item filter with 1 iron scaffold, and the extract is set to round robin to make sure that each of the mechanical users gets only 1 scaffold. They automatically place their scaffolds. The sand gets set to the top and bottom mechanical users, which are set to activate block with item always on. They also get counting item filters. This was rather expensive. This ender tank is constantly filling this fluid solid canning machine, which is set to fluid enrich. CF powder enriches the water into CF spray. The CF spray gets pushed into this fluid tank. The tank has a habit of filling up the CF sprayer even before there's a bucket of construction foam in there. So to make sure the CF sprayer gets filled with 1,000 millibuckets at least, which is enough to fill 10 scaffolds, it's set to active with signal, and this RFTools liquid monitor sends a signal when there's at least 5% fluid in the fluid tank. The CF sprayer gets extracted if it's not empty. It gets pulled into this user and is only extracted when it's actually empty. This user is set to use item on block on a redstone pulse. The redstone pulse fires every 7 seconds if and only if the scanner detects an IC2 scaffold in front of it. Once all the scaffolds have construction foam, these mechanical users activate the sand. This turns the construction foam instantly into reinforced stone, and the scanner detects it. It sends a green signal to this circuit, which is identical to the other one, except that the timer is 5 seconds. Now the red channel gets a pulse, pulsing all these mechanical miners at once. They're set to redstone pulse. Finally, everything gets extracted on always active into this chest. This system works for multiple recipes at once. I've tested it with 3 recipes at the same time, and it'll almost certainly work for more. And that's it for today's episode. Sorry about the long delay. My summer has been very busy, and I've had a lot of business to take care of. Next episode, I'm going to get into TechReborn, so it's a good thing I have Ultimate Hybrid Solars already automatically craftable. As always, if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it, and I hope you enjoyed.